Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. This is going to be an interesting show tonight. Not like one we've done ever before, I believe.
I don't believe so either.
I don't know. You want to get close to your mic. Folks, we are joined tonight by our favoritist co-host, Wendy Hodge, who I will only refer to from here on once the opening credits happens as number one, and you will see why. You there?
I'm here.
There she is. Awesome. All right. Let's see what we got coming on. So usually Savannah and I are like sharing what the co-host duties and doing the media announce. Oh, me tonight. And I got my bridge laid out. So, there's Maya.
Hi, Maya.
Hello, Maya. There she is. Okay. I hope you had a good birthday weekend. And right now Savannah will not be here tonight. She's actually at San Manuel Powwow over in Cal State San Bernardino.
Woo-hoo.
And there's actually a live feed from powwows.com that we will be checking in on every so often. Take a look at San Manuel Powwow. That is one of the best powwows, arguably the best, but definitely one of the best in Southern California. They do a great job. I'm going to try to go there at some point this weekend. Got some difficulties. We'll cover why. Otherwise, good stuff. Now, remember, folks, sharing is caring. And let me turn off the sound. I am getting ready to share. You doing it too, Wendy?
I'm going to try and share too.
I am doing that. I'm trying right now. Pages. I got to go to my live feed. I got to do this from my cell phone. There we go. Hold on. Difficulties. So tonight, folks. Okay, all right. Tonight, folks, we're doing a Star Trek episode tonight. We're covering the history and the cultural analysis, and we're going to cover a lot of fun sci-fi pop facts about the Klingons. Almost everybody loves the Klingons. It's like the sci-fi version of everybody loving it because of the whole people loving Vikings.
Oh, yeah. You can put Vikings on if you want.
We should do a show on Vikings.
You should.
Be about as lively as tonight. So let me get the show shared. Let me do my thing here because I can't walk and chew bubblegum. Okay, traders, get ready to share. God, little pop-ups that happen. Okay, now I can share. We are live. Thank goodness it's the one-time predicted text works for me. And boom, shared. I did my part.
Shared. We are sharing.
Yep, and El Presidente is making pronouncements. I hope everyone has had a great week. Happy Friday. Don't forget Late Night Craft Talk to share the show. And from El Presidente, hello, Wendy. So happy you are here. Thank you for doing this show, James. Thank you. Welcome, El Presidente of the Friday Ninja Monster Hunter Squad. Okay. If you're wondering what you're looking at on our hold screen right here, this is actually the bridge to a Klingon bird of prey, the type of ship. And on the view screen, you see Savannah and I.
You do.
I think that's a show from last January. What is that background?
If it works, why change it?
Yeah. Well, apparently even the Klingons watch our show. And it's probably not because of the Chihuahua, Princess Leia. Okay, let's see. We got they're really tuning in tonight. Okay, folks.
My targ has gone to sleep.
Your targ has gone to sleep?
Yep.
You're not going to have your targ on the show. Folks, targ is a Klingon pet. Wendy is, let's just say there's a reason I asked Wendy to co-host this week. For a good reason, and you will find out. It's pretty good. All right, another message from El Presidente. Share everywhere I could. Share it everywhere I could. Are you doing is that a Yoda thing? I hope you're not crossing engineers. What is that? What is that scene from Ted?
Do what?
There's a scene from I haven't seen the movie Ted, but I saw a clip one time where you got these guys walking and you've got Darth Vader and some stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the car and somebody, the drivers, doesn't know much about sci-fi. It says something about, oh yeah, we'll do a Vulcan mind meld. And all of a sudden, it's like, these guys are getting an argument. All of a sudden, they all turn against her going, what are you doing mixing engineers? Like even the person dressed as, cosplaying as Darth Vader holds up his hand like to do the, the Force death grip
Right.
or the Force chokehold, and they're like, "I know, we know, you're upset." Okay.
Like,
Yeah. But Q versus Vader. Q. So I gotta say, there's actually a video that I was watching. It was actually on YouTube. It was Vader versus Predator.
right.
Have you seen that or heard of it?
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's actually really good. The guy that narrates it in the pictures, of course, the pictures are generated by AI, but it was actually really good. I mean, you could say that could really happen, but we're talking about Star Wars and Predator.
Right.
But it was like the way Predator, Vader took on the Predators and then fought the senior elder master warrior Predator. They do some of these fan-made stuff like that is good.
It's like the Klingon musical.
Which one?
I like all of them because
yeah.
It's like, but then I'm a nerd like that because it's like, I'm not sure why I am into right now. I'm really deep into Korean shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I have it in Korean, but with the English subtitles, just because I like hearing the language.
I could dig it. Well, you were stationed in Korea in the Corps.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How long were you in Korea?
Oh, geez. About a year.
Long enough. Okay.
Korea.
You didn't see Hawkeye Pierce or anybody like that?
Yeah. No, but it felt like it when you watch. I was like the first winter I was there. It was so stinking cold. I'm like, yeah, I remember when I was watching MASH and they were talking about how cold it was in Korea. Yeah, buddy.
No kidding. Was there a Klinger anywhere in your squad?
No, we weren't allowed to have Klingers back then.
I have to do a show just on MASH and characters.
I was kind of the Hawkeye.
Right. Really? Did you have a radar?
Oh yeah, we had some radars.
Colonel Blake's?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And how many Frank Burns?
Too many.
Kidding. All right, boy, we already. Holy cow! Look at the clock. We've only got like 2 minutes and 17 seconds left. Holy cow!
Yeah.
No kidding. All right, folks, we're waiting. Let's see, checking messages. Not much right at the moment. All right, we're going to get lively later. So we're going to be having some fun. We're going to be covering some upcoming powwows. We're going to be reviewing that. Shows were coming up, and we've got some other announcements right now tonight from Dancing Bear as well as Elk Crack, and we're getting into the fun of this. We're going to be covering such controversial issues as the remake of Klingons by J.J. Abrams. This is actually a hot button topic for Trekkies. We're Trekkers.
Well, the whole Kelvin timeline is a hot button topic.
Oh, yeah. The first and third movie were good. Into Darkness, not so much.
Well, it kind of follows the original Star Trek movies.
I guess so.
The odd numbers versus the...
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Got it, yeah, because the odd numbers, not so good.
No.
But, anything, you should not touch anything Wrath of Khan. Folks, sorry if we're talking Chinese to you. We'll bring it back to normal people Muggle conversations against a Harry Potter term. All right. Less than a minute, folks. Get ready to count down with us. Might want to turn up your volume a little bit. Let's just say we have a specialized opening credits today. No.
Woo!
Okay. All right. 32 seconds. God, that last minute's kind of going, but that first 8 minutes just went fast. That was nuts.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And 23. You ready, Wendy?
That's because Maya's here. That's why it went so fast.
We want Maya here. Okay, get ready to count down with us, folks. Here we go. And starting at 10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
showtime!
One.
Quack, pohe, oh, late night craft talk. Vad, ohe, huh, mi quas, Savea Komora Yang. Ej, Qapla'mey, James Hermes. Faj po fidje, Klingon will kumech, yekwas, vihos. 2 Federation crewmen arrive on Kronos. They meet a guard. They ask him, "Can we get to the Great Hall from here?" The guard answers, "If the bugs don't bite you."
I love that opening. Hi, Wendy.
Awesome.
Welcome
opening.
to the show this week.
Well, I
Or
thank
is now
you.
coming on Commander Hodge or number 1.
Number 1.
Folks, when Wendy signed on here about half an hour ago, she is wearing the uniform that number 1, the female first officer from the pilot episode of Star Trek, the original series in 1967, 66?
No, 66.
66 war. And she's wearing that uniform right now. So she's the first officer, and number 1. And I got to remember to say number 1 for the rest of the show. When she signed it, I saw that. I went, I geeked the heck out. There's a reason we want Wendy on the show tonight. We love Wendy on the show tonight.
I wore this to Star Trek Con 2016, 50-year anniversary.
No kidding.
No kidding.
What else is just sitting around right there? And I love the Enterprise, the Constitution class Enterprise behind you.
Right?
And all the other little eye candy behind too.
Yeah.
Some of the props she's had tonight, folks. I mean, Destiny has made us do this tonight to bring Wendy on. The universe dictated it. All right, let's get some business out of the way right quick, folks. We got some things to go over, and then we're gonna get the fun. I mentioned for this. This is gonna be good. All right. Welcome to Late Night Craft Talk. This is a show that is put on collaboratively with Elk Rack Traders and Dancing Bear Indian Trader. We started this show in April of 2020 during the pandemic because we wanted a place to try to showcase. Well, we're all bored. There's nothing to do. We're all locked down. So we wanted to feature a place to feature Native artists and artists in general, people that are inspirational, and bring them on the show. And it's evolved around to we're doing this show 4.5 years later. We're still doing it. And that's what we do. So we'd like to have fun on our Friday night family show. And here we are again. All right, so we got any comments to catch up on? Nothing yet, but we do have from El Presidente, Wendy. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Maya. Glad you're here too.
One of these days, we'll all be in one place to be able to meet, see face to face. Because I've met Maya.
I know, right?
I've met a lot of our viewers, and now you. And, but, you know, Save's actually never met Maya. Some of y'all never met Maya. I know Carol Ann's met Maya and brought her some shows. At one point, we're all going to be in one place. I'm like the only one that's seen almost everybody.
I don't know. Would that rip a hole in this time-space continuum?
Yeah, there's that. And it looks like Kelly Jo Miller's watching. I just got a message that she's on. Kelly Jo, say hi. All right.
Hi, Kelly Jo.
Okay, let's get some announcements done. We have some POWs, rodeos to announce that are coming up. Put on our calendar of events. Agreed, Maya. We got to do like a meetup convention sometime.
Right.
Theoretically, that's what the Dancing Bear Bead Retreat could be. But we might have to do one that's specific, like a live show with an audience. I'm going to talk to Sophia about that, so we can actually pull it up. And there's Kelly Jo. Howdy, Kelly Jo. You got to let me know if you're doing Helen's Float in January. Oh, that's where we talked about it. And, of course, from El Presidente, hello, Kelly Jo. Or Kelly Jo, hello, from El Presidente. All right. Let's get to the announcements, folks. Let's talk about our community events. We do have coming up a casting call for a docudrama, People of the West. Pay rate $500, seeking SAG, which is, what is SAG?
SAG?
SAG is?
Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild. Speaking roles, Native Americans, Indigenous men and women, ages 15 to 70, must be local to California. No experience required. Take a look right there. That just came up in the last couple weeks, so we thought we'd go ahead and throw that out as our public announcements. We also have coming up, folks, this weekend, right now, San Manuel Powwow. is going on right now this weekend.
At
And
this
tomorrow
very
afternoon,
moment.
evening, and Sunday afternoon at Cal State San Bernardino in San Bernardino. And matter of fact, it's actually, pals.com is actually doing a live broadcast on them. We'll take a peek on it a couple times during the show tonight to see how it's going. I imagine they're probably getting close to the flag retreat right now. It's getting late enough in the night. Okay. Also coming up, Poway Rodeo next weekend. This is the only flyer I can find for it. Poway Rodeo Elk Rack Traders will be there. Oh, yeah. Samuel, Dancing Bear Indian Trader is there this weekend right now. Next weekend, Poway Rodeo in Poway, California. Elk Rack Traders will be there. That is Friday evening, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday evening are the sessions of rodeo. Go to powayrodeo.com for tickets. And they're not already sold out, but check it out. They do a good community rodeo. Elk Rack Traders have been there since 1998. It is our third longest show we have been doing. Second longest is Lakeside Rodeo. And actually, Poway's tied with Bulls Only Rodeo. And then our longest show we've been established at is Koopa Cultural Days in May down at Apollo Reservation. All right, let's finish this off. Next weekend, the Powwow over in Bishop. The Dancing Bear Indian Trader will be there September 27th through the 29th, same weekend as Poway. And we also have coming up Palm Springs, California. There is let's see right here. That's the National Indian Education Association Powwow. This is part of a conference that's held in Palm Springs about mid-October every year. Elk Rack Traders will not be at that powwow, unfortunately, because we have another event to be at that weekend. Otherwise, I've historically love supporting it. Chumash Intertribal Powwow coming up. We went these out sequentially. 5th and 6th, Dancing Bear Indian Trader will be there. And then we have Bulls Only Rodeo coming up. That is in Lakeside, California. That's our arguably tied with Poway Rodeo for our longest going show. We will be there at Lakeside Rodeo Grounds in Lakeside, California. And then last on the calendar, Dancing Bear Halloween Bead Retreat, October 11th and 13th. Huh?
Bead Retreat.
Bead Retreat. The same weekend as, of course, the Bulls Only Rodeo. Not far from each other, but there it is. So, folks, go to Dancing Bear Indian Trader's website for more information to sign up. This has been going on they've been doing it like at least 10 years, the Bead Retreat for Dancing Bear. It's always a highlight. Check it out. There's all kinds of classes, kits you can do. And like I said, go to Dancing Bear's website for more information. And that is our public announcements. So now we got to cover anything new for Elk Rack.
Yeah. What's going on at Elk Rack?
We're going to get ready for Poway Rodeo next weekend. And we're at Palm Springs Village Fest on Thursdays. It's just great for Poway. That one. Then 2 weeks later, we have the Bulls Only Rodeo. I am spending a lot of time building up stock right now. Tomorrow I'll be working on feather fence. This morning, yesterday, I was working on big obsidian knives, which I don't have any to show because they're in a case still in a case from where we showed in Palm Springs last night.
Were you napping?
Yes, you have to do that joke for Survey, aren't you? You're obligated. Your sister sticking along. Also, we have a greetings from Vicky Hermes. Hail number 1.
Hail Vicky Hermes. Yeah.
Oh, she's got a long ways to go. I mean, Vicky, Mom, if you're watching the show, why don't you just come in and say hi in person? Now that I say that, let's do a countdown. 10, 9, 8. Well, there's a 13-second delay, so let's about there. I'll start counting down now. Let's see if it happens. 10, 9, 8, 7. So you can see she walked through the door. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Oh.
I got it. I was like 2 seconds off. Come say hi to number 1.
Hey, number 1.
Hello, Vicky. Live long and prosper.
This is the Klingon show. What are we doing?
Klingon show, but what am I wearing? I'm representing Starfleet tonight.
Yes, I love the uniform. That is totally cool.
Oh, even got the braid. Even got the braid.
Oh, look at that. Does your
No. Think Geek went out of business before I could get one.
The communicator, but the original series, that was just an emblem on the shirt. They added a separate communicator like a flip phone.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
We have a hello from Vivian and hello from Kokomo.
Vivian.
All right. Hello, Vivian. We're going to be talking this weekend. You know that. Our favorite guest for Halloween. All right.
Yes.
We good?
Good night.
All right.
Have fun. Good night. Watch.
Okay. All right. Let's go over a few things. I do have, it is not a Debbie Downer. I'm going to make it brief and then I'm going to make it positive. Folks, you know that I've had what I like to call the Nero whoopsie 26 months ago. And from that, I did develop sensory issues. I cannot do inside powwows, art shows at all anymore. The recovery has been very good. I've gone from having to almost daily use earplugs in the last year to not needing them hardly at all. But sometimes, recovery is not linear. And sometimes you have a 3 steps forward and 1 or 2 steps back. That happened this week. I like to keep our viewers updated on what's going on with me on the recovery. Most times, luckily, there's no news. No news is good news, but this week there's news. I did it sometimes, and it's only happened distinctly. This is the third, maybe fourth time, but distinctly the third, where the sensory issues tell me you ain't done yet, and it's long term. I was doing fine, went into a Walmart, no problem, went into a Sprouts to shop for ingredients for a segment of tonight's show, and I walked in, and probably fluorescent lighting has definitely something to do with it, but I have a problem with loud noises, but this time it's visual. I walked into the Sprouts, brightly lit, fluorescent lighting probably, lots of color, and I could tell I was having a problem as soon as I walked in the door, and I lasted less than a minute. I turned around and walked straight out. And the visual image, sometimes it's noises that are mixed in with the visual image, but sometimes when it hits, it's like a block that you cannot discern moving parts from. And it hit me bad that day. I got out of there just in time before I responded very badly to it. And so, thank you, Maya. Maya says, as long as there's progress chance. And just for everyone's own education, I actually have a visual that I want to say what it's like till this happens, and then we're going to jump into tonight's show. But I'm going to show you an image right here. This is very similar to what I walked into the Sprouts, and this is what it looks like. Now, if you look at this, you can tell, the bright lights, it just got to me. This is what I saw. I saw this. No problem. I saw this. Nothing blood. There was no crazy. I wasn't seeing colors or anything like that. But the problem is that the stroke was in the right thalamic region of the brain, which coordinates, relays, coordinates and relays stimulus, information, sensitive information from the senses, except the sense of smell. That goes to another part of the brain. And it relays it to different parts of the brain. And it's damaged, and sometimes it gets clogged if there's just the right conditions and information. Now, this is what I saw. This is what my clogged brain tried to interpret from the block that formed. That is the best visual description I can say what it's like. I saw everything look like this, but that my brain was trying to interpret information like this, and it comes in very intensely, and it just hits like a block. You can't tell one thing apart from the other than just it's one big mush. And something like this takes several days to get over. I did okay in Palm Springs last night. Noises were getting to me more. That's to be expected. And this all happened on Wednesday, folks, the Sprouts thing. And it's not Sprouts' fault. It's a me problem. But last night when we were packing up the booth, I have some wood boards I kind of clanked down, and it did that big smack sound. And I didn't realize how sensitive I was until I heard that. It hurt my ears, but I could feel it bouncing around, like echoing back and forth, bouncing in my head, going boom, 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 boom. That was funky. That was weird. So, so recovery is not linear. Sometimes you have your bad days, or particularly bad days. I haven't left my house today. I'm probably not going to send my well pal because of this, because I'm just not begging to do it. I'm particularly sensitive, and I have Poway Rodeo next weekend. So that's what's going on with me. I want to let y'all know because I know everybody cares and you're all amazing people. So that's what's happening. Otherwise, well, can't do Samoa Powell, but have fun right now. Maya says she's hearing some feedback like music in the background. Wendy, do you have music playing?
I have Klingon music playing, but I can turn it down.
Yeah, can you turn it down? My apologies. We've had problems with this where we try to have something in the background and it just doesn't. What you hear and what I hear is to be different. What the viewer's going to hear something else.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Gotcha. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, one more announcement.
I forgot to turn it off from earlier.
Klingon music gets you in the mood. Okay, one more announcement. Also, we actually have. We're going to segue now. To start the show, we're going to bring out actually some Klingon pets. Folks, these are bigger than a targ. These are the most vicious animals that Klingons hold as pets. Kittens.
Kittens.
Yes. Vicious kittens that are apparently looking the wrong way, but here's what they look like right there. They're vicious kittens. Look, ding, 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 ding. And they're turning around. So these are vicious kittens that are the ultimate warrior's pet. This one's up for adoption and this one's up for adoption. We're calling this one Sky and this one's Xena. Folks, if you're looking for a kitten, let me know. We don't need any more from Crazy Cat Lady. Now, Crazy Cat Lady is going to go collect them from me right quick. Thank you, Crazy Cat Lady. Let me know if y'all want a kitten. Yeah, they got so big. These ones are very young. 6 weeks? 8 weeks?
2 months.
2 months. 8 weeks old.
Wow.
Right age. So wanted to put that there. All right.
Wow.
Now that we've gone from Debbie Downer, we chilled everybody out with kittens. Let's go to Klingons.
Let's go to Klingon.
Okay, folks. Let's have some fun with this. Let me get set up. All right. Let's go to tonight's show subject and start building up to the fun till we get to the gagh later on and the debates. All right, folks. Stay with us. Vivian. Okay. From Vivian. More kittens. How many does that make? Okay. There's Taco that had the kittens 2 years ago.
Right.
Almost 2 years ago. A year and a half. A little more than that. And my mom said, I love them. Let's keep all 6. So that's 7 cats. They go inside, outside. They're not. We don't believe in keeping the animals inside. We can do that here. So the cats are outside most of the time. They sleep inside, whatever. So when you see them, you don't know until feeding time that there's that many bloody cats here. You go in the backyard, you see a 90-pound tortoise. So we have you don't see them most of the time, but that makes now 9 temporarily. So these ones we found in the side yard, their mom didn't quite abandon them, but they had some health issues. Mom picked them up, taking care of them, and now we're finding homes. So folks, let me know. 4
more and you'll have a baker's dozen.
Please, God, no. We've enough with Crazy Cat Lady that meets the, art meets real life with that. It wasn't much of a leap. Okay. All right, with that, let's talk about Klingons. All right. Let's go. All right, folks. Klingons. You're seeing several iterations of them, and we're going to talk about it tonight. Let's get started. So, show title. You want to start off, or shall I, Wendy?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to go over the cultural analysis. We got some stuff for me to do, and then we're going to get into the good stuff. So bear with us, folks. This is setting up for the rest of the show. We're running around on time. It's 10:20. All right. Klingons. What are they? They're a humanoid warrior species that originated from the planet Kronos, an M-class planet, which is a Machara-class planet. That means it's habitable like Earth, in the Beta Quadrant. We're in the Gamma Alpha Quadrant. Beta Quadrant's another one over there. Let's just say it's a ways away. All right. One of the major powers of the galaxy in the Star Trek universe, the Klingons are a proud, tradition-bound people who value honor and combat. The aggressive Klingon culture has made them an interstellar military power to be respected and feared. You got the next one? Or me?
I'll get the next one.
Okay.
Klingons were developed by screenwriter Gene Kuhn in 1967 for the original TOS Star Trek series. They were swarthy humans characterized by prideful ruthlessness and brutality. The Klingons took on the role of the Soviet Union within the fictional government of the United Federation of Planets, playing the role of the United States. As a result, the Klingons were generally portrayed as inferior to the crew of the Enterprise.
So a little fun factoid right there. Definitely. Okay.
There were a lot of things that were going on in the real world, were worked into the original Star Trek.
No, definitely. You know, and that was only a few years after the Cuban Missile Crisis,
Right.
when the Klingons were invented by it there. Okay, moving on. Does it say where to do the slides? Okay, I see it. All right.
You got it. You got the first.
Yeah, I got the
Klingon
next one.
word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the creation story of the Klingons. Now, according to legend, Kotar, the first Klingon, and his mate were created in a place called Otlu. I'm going to get these wrong. Otlu, a type of Garden of Eden in the Klingon creation myths. The two destroyed their gods who made them and turned the heavens into ashes. We're talking Klingons, folks, warrior race. This event is recounted in marriage ceremonies throughout the following with this passage that tells this story. Here we go. Story time.
Story time.
Okay, I got to read this. I got to get close to read this because it's on the screen over here. With fire and steel did the gods forge the Klingon heart. So fiercely did it beat, so loud was the sound, that the gods cried out, "On this day we have brought forth the strongest heart in all the heavens. None can stand before it without trembling at its strength." But then the Klingon heart weakened. Its steady rhythm faltered, and the god said, "Why do you weaken so? We have made you the strongest in all creation." And the heart said, "I am alone." And the gods knew that they had erred. So they went back to their forge and brought back forth another heart. But the second heart beat stronger than the first, and the first was jealous of its power. Fortunately, wisdom had softened the second heart. If we join together, no force can stop us. And when the two hearts began to beat together, they filled the heavens with a terrible sound. For the first time, the gods knew fear. They tried to flee, but it was too late. The Klingon hearts destroyed the gods who had created them and turned the heavens to ashes. To this day, no one can oppose the beating of two Klingon hearts. That's the story told at like Klingon marriage ceremonies. In Star Trek Deep Space Nine, that's the story when Worf married Jadzia Dax. And, you know, we're talking Klingons. And at one point, Worf said, you know, they killed their gods because there were new not meddlesome, annoying.
They were
annoyances. Yeah. So that is the story of the first Klingons right there. And then we have your turn.
Pretty rough when you take out your own gods. Then you're totally responsible and have no one to blame.
Yeah, I mean, who do you do confession to now?
I think most everyone does it to Kallus.
Got it. Okay.
According to the Klingon lore, Koanos, the planet homeworld of the Klingons, was ruled by Malor. While Malor was a tyrannical dictator who was generally unpopular among the people, the chimneys of the planet's volcanoes housed shrines in which live sacrifices were thrown in his honor. Kallus, the unforgettable, a commoner, emerged as a champion of the people and stood against Molar's troops at Karangi. Here, Kallus and the Lady Lakara fought a pitched battle in the city's great hall, pictured behind James, while the rest of the city's garrison fled before the 500 soldiers. Shortly after the victory, the two became what was known as the greatest romance of Klingon history. Kallus eventually slew Molar in single combat as the River Scry, using the first bat'leth, the Sword of Kallus. After Molar's defeat, his temples were abandoned and built over. Despite his low birth, Kallus ruled together with his new wives as Emperor of Kronos, establishing the first empire. Kallus proved to be not only a powerful warrior, but also a wise ruler, establishing a code of honor that was to become the template for Klingon society for centuries to come. Kallus was also a philosopher, and his words were frequently invoked by warriors about to enter battle. Among his sayings were, "A leader is judged not by the length of his reign, but by the decisions he makes." Kallus legends were recorded in a series of scrolls called the Qapla'mey. Sometime after Kallus united all Klingons, he left. Claiming he was going to Stokovor, he pointed to a star and said, "Look for me there." At that point of light, a planet orbiting the star Kallus pointed to was later named Boreth, becoming the most sacred place for Klingons. Based on the given promise, it was here that the followers of Kallus henceforth awaited his return.
Okay. Number one,
Yes.
Kahless.
Kahless or Kallus?
Kahless. It's taking a start from the Star Trek Wiki.
Okay.
You look,
It's
you know,
Wiki. It's Wiki. Come on.
it's
it's
on the Star Star Trek episodes. It's like Kahless said. Tomato, tomato. Okay. So, folks, with that, we actually want to. The picture that you saw right here is actually appears on the Great Hall right here. It is a period painting of. You get Kahless. That is the actual period painting of what Kahless looked like. The real life, quote unquote, Kahless. Now, if you're wondering what a bat'leth is, here's actually some of the well-known Klingon melee weapons. Melee or melee is a melee. Melee weapons. Up in the upper left, that is the Klingon sword, the bat'leth. And let's see if I can zoom in on some of these. Yep, I can. We have over here also the Makleth, which I love. That's what Worf likes to fight with a fair amount of the time. The Nevach, the Diktosh, the Kutlik, the Knife of Kron, and this long speary thing that's the Harleth. German pronunciation of Klingon words is not hard because I actually speak a fair amount of German, and it's kind of based off German.
Yeah, they're very guttural.
Oh yeah, it wasn't hard to do that. There's the Kurleth and the Rob Harleth, and of course our favorite, the bat'leth.
Jadzia wields a mean bat'leth.
Yes, I hate it when it does that. Okay, here you go. So Jadzia wields the bat'leth. Bat'leths are just cool. Good weapons to actually train with. I don't know one yet. Okay. I spent the money on a pack raft. All right. So with that, now you know what the bat'leth is. One of the most sacred objects there is in Klingon culture is the sword of Kahless. So now that we've actually talked about that, we can actually move on here to the first dynasty. We're going to talk about Klingon culture here, and then we got to get this out of the way. Kahless the Great. Okay. Kahless's greatest legacies included not only the creation of the Klingon Empire, but also establishing the position of emperor, thereby founding a dynastic monarchy that endured almost uninterrupted for 1,000 years. Noted emperors, including Sumpek, remembered for his conquest of Tongve, when, 10,000 of his warriors laid siege to the city. When Sumpek captured Tongve, he ordered the entire population massacred because, why not?
Hey.
And the city burned to the ground. Emperor Murek, on the other hand, was known for his introducing the use of a blooded bat'leth for practice in order to make sure that, quote unquote, his warriors killed their enemies and not each other. Because what's more dangerous than a drunk Klingon with a bat'leth or a Makleth or any of that? Okay.
A rabid Clark.
A rabid Clark. Now, in the 14th century of our Gregorian calendar, 14th century of our Earth calendar, the Klingon homeworld was sacked by a powerful race from the Gamma Quadrant. They were called the Herc, which is actually Klingon language for outsider. Although they did not stay long, the Herc did not leave before looting many valuable cultural resources, including the revered Sword of Kahless. And there's like a whole Star Trek episode that's crazy just based on finding the Sword of Kahless from, I think it was Deep Space Nine. Okay. You next or me? You.
I can go next.
Okay.
At one point in the Second Dynasty, ruled over by the Klingon Empire, it ended when General Qapla'mey was assassinated Emperor Reklaw and later put to death all the members of the imperial family. During the next 10 years, the empire was ruled by a council elected by the people, which was referred to as the Dark Time by Klingon historians, although it produced several notable reforms. Following this unique but brief period of democracy, a new group of Klingons called the Third Dynasty were given the titles and names of the original imperial family in order to create the illusion of unbroken line, since true imperial bloodlines were cut at the end of the Second Dynasty. And here we have the chancellors.
The more recent ones. So about in the time frame of the first mid-21st century, the imperial monarchy, which claimed to trace its origins to the legendary warrior Kahless, came to an end when the last emperor died and the leadership of the empire fell to the chancellor of the Klingon High Council. And we have the chancellors right here. Chronologically, it's going to be, let's see if I can get this. Chronologically, it's going to be Chancellor Laurel, 2257. Of course, that's going to be easy to tell that. Okay, before that was the Chancellor in 2153. That was Star Trek Enterprise. And the Chancellor in 2151. Okay, it is chronological. Then you got from Laurel to Chancellor Gorkon, appeared in Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country. Chancellor Ezebur, that is actually the daughter of Gorkon. It's one of the rare times that women are allowed to serve on the High Council, and much less be, head of the High Council. Chancellor Kimpek, which appeared in Star Trek Next Generation. Chancellor Galron, that dude was crazy. And then one of my favorite always, Chancellor Martok from Deep Space Nine.
I don't know. I'd have to pick Gowron as my favorite.
Galron?
Yeah. If nothing else, for the eyes. He said,
"Oh, that dude had crazy eyes."
He said everything he needed to say with the eyes.
Oh yeah, he massive crazy eyes. But just something about Martok in his voice.
Yeah.
And he brought Worf back. I mean, Galron's the one that kicked Worf out of the Klingon Empire. Anyway, folks, we're doing Star Trek talk. We gotta quit talking the Igbo, although it's English and another language type thing. Okay. With that, we okay. Here's a fun history factoid. This is cool. In 2016, a Vulcan ship crossed into Klingon space near Hatoria, prompting the Klingons to destroy it immediately. Now, y'all remember Vulcans? Spock, Vulcans, Vulcan salute. I can do it. I can do it. Wendy can do it. My mom, we're going to have a talk. Okay.
Well, T'Pol couldn't do it either. Or the actress who played T'Pol couldn't do it either.
Yeah, she had to learn real quick on that one. All right. Now, when the Vulcan, not wanting to make the same mistake twice, the Vulcans henceforth fired first whenever they crossed paths with Klingons until formal diplomatic relations were established. As Commander Michael Burnham from Star Trek Discovery said, they said hello in the language that the Klingons could understand. Violence brought respect, respect brought peace. That's diplomacy with the Klingons.
Definitely.
And we're talking about some Klingon culture here.
In Klingon culture, they adhere to a strict code of honor, much like the feudal Mongolians or the Japanese customs. Their side is based on war and combat. Ritual suicide is often preferred over living life as a crippled warrior, and may allow a warrior to die with honor. To be captured rather than killed in battle brings dishonor not only to the captive, but to his descendants. Death is depicted as a time for celebration, not grief. Klingons are depicted as a spiritual people. According to their legends, Klingons slew their own gods. The equivalents to heaven and hell are called Stovokor and Gregthor, respectively. And they are, well, let's see, lost my place. Both in Stovokor, battle and feasting can be eternally won and shared, while those sent to Gregthor are condemned to eternal torture unless their honor is restored by living relatives. Those who do not die in battle may not enter Stovokor. Relatives undertake quests to guarantee their deceased comrades may enter into paradise.
And okay, that's the wrong slide.
Yeah, I was like,
apparently I threw one off right there. So, folks, we're going to come back to that one. There's a scene from Star Trek, the first Klingon-specific episode from, I think, first or probably second season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where a person dies, a Klingon warrior dies, and Worf's there, and they just go, ah! They start yelling right there. And what they're doing is they're, just like that ceremony, they yell the warn Stovokor, there's a warrior coming in. Okay.
Despite you want me to do the next part?
Sure.
Despite believing in an afterlife, the Klingons perform a form of last rite. This consists of spreading the eyes open, humming in anticipation of the final breath, and roaring skywards, as you just mentioned, when the warrior dies, warning the dead a Klingon warrior is coming. Yet Klingons have no burial rites and dispose of the corpses by the most expedient means possible, considering them to be empty shells.
Let's reenact that. Let's reenact that right. So hold the eyes open, looking right there. Start humming. Dude dies. Ah! And that's how it's done, folks. Remember, if you're visiting someone, they're about to pass away, hold their eyes open and scream really loud. Everyone will understand. Don't do that. Okay. Here's a fun sci-fi factoid. The Klingons have their own language that was developed. Okay, right. Klingons have their own language that was developed for the feature films. First appearing in Star Trek, the motion picture by, it was 1980, I think it came out, or 79. Now, often described as guttural, like German, for the motion picture, James Doohan, the actor who portrayed Montgomery Scotty, folks, devised the initial Klingon language dialogue heard in the film. For the Search for Spock, Mark Okrand, who created the Vulcan dialogue used in the previous film, developed an actual working Klingon language based on Doohan's original made-up words. Made-up words like, I'm just going to say some stuff that sounds like it's Klingon. The last word was real. So, with that, dedicated Klingon enthusiasts created the Klingon Language Institute. This is a real thing, folks. The Klingon Language Institute, which published multiple magazines in the language. And now I can bring out that slide. The Institute has published Klingon translations of Hamlet, Much Ado About Nothing, Tao Yi Ching, and Gilgamesh, and has translations of some books from the Bible on its website. Other Klingon groups actually run blood drives, bowling teams, and a golf championship. Now, we both know one of our favorite quotes from Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country from General Chang. Shall we say it?
Go ahead.
You've never read Shakespeare until you've read it in the original Klingon.
New message at your private terminal. Commander, you've received a new message.
Yes, when I went to Star Trek Con in 2016, there were several side rooms where people were conversing in Klingon. They did the plays. It was pretty interesting.
I just got texted by Sevilla that I forgot to put the brand up. Remember, blonde brain. But we got number one. Fairly Sevilla's watching. Sevilla should come on and say hi. With that, let's take a quick look. Let's see what's going on at Semmelweil Powell right quick. We said we do that, and we need to do that. And Sevilla's calling right now. Should I put her on?
Yeah.
Hey, Sevilla.
Hey, James. Do you know your brand isn't on?
It was a second ago.
Yeah, what?
Okay, it wasn't a second ago. That's why I was calling you.
No, because I read the. Why did that go off? Okay, because I put it off and then went on. It came off, and then I saw your text, And then I just put it back on because when you said that, I looked when it's off again.
I messaged you, and I was being like annoying, so I know I've been interrupting your show.
Well, it's our show, but we're doing important things.
Okay, all right, okay.
Hey, wait,
Just so you know.
you know you're live right now, right?
Yeah, I know I'm live. Hello, everyone. I miss you.
Miss you, Sabea.
We're actually looking at a live feed from pals.com. It looks like they're doing a special right now. We're looking at it from on YouTube, a live stream on the show right now.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's no sound.
Hey, everyone. I miss you guys. So I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll
Have
be.
fun.
Yes, ma'am.
Behave, James.
Trying not to.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. So we're looking at a live feed where Sabea just called from of Samuel Powell right now. Yeah, it looks like they're doing a special. They get some great dancers out there. Let me tell you that. Okay. With that, folks, we're going to take a couple other looks at it. We still got 19 minutes left in the show. We got some cool stuff to go through. All right. Now we've talked about the culture and some fun sci-fi facts. Gilgamesh, we talked about that. Let me do a little setup here. Okay, because when I do the live feed, I got to completely read from one screen. Okay, there we go. All right. So you're probably wondering when you looked at the original slide, of all the different designs of Klingons, why does the Klingon always look different? We're going to tackle an important subject, folks. The appearance of Klingons. So we're going to go over some explanation of why they all look different at different times. And this is kind of chronological. What you're seeing in the upper left-hand corner is the way the Klingons appeared in Star Trek, the original series in the late 1960s. This is what you call trying to make something that looks alien on a budget of $2.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. They used shoe polish, dyed the guy's hair, shoe polish to get that bronze look, and based the mustaches and whatnot off stereotyping Asian people. Let's not do a cancel culture on the Klingons, please.
They were like we said before, they were trying to go for that Mongolian look.
Yep.
Like Genghis Khan.
Kind of worked. And then you have the Klingons were remade, and we already know from the factoids from the show that they actually invented, did the Klingon language. Well, actually, the motion picture was based off just sounds that James Doohan made. But you're looking at the Klingons remade in the upper middle of how it appears in Star Trek, the motion picture. It was a good movie, generally. And then when the Klingons started making an appearance, they were refined when you started having a regular Klingon and a cast member in The Next Generation, hence Worf in the lower left. And the Klingons have been that way. They were kind of remade for the motion pictures, again, for Star Trek 2 and Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country. Well, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, and then The Undiscovered Country. They refined a bit more for the motion picture. That's what you see on the far right. And then, of course, the classic Worf that's stayed. And then you have this horrible experiment, this horrible thing that somebody did and convinced somebody was a good idea. Paramount was a good idea, or the producers. The redesign of the Klingons from Star Trek Discovery that came out, 7-8 years ago at this point. I think 6-7 years ago, actually. The remake of the Klingons that's in the lower center. Whoever did that needs to have a bat'leth and smacked upside their head 15 times.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It is not controversial with Star Trek community. It's just universally hated. Unless you're a new Star Trek person and don't know, if you don't like the old Klingons, you need to be beaten in the head with a bat'leth 15 times.
Yeah. Well, the explanation for the smooth foreheads of the Klingons in TOS, where they had gotten a disease specific to their species, and it caused their brow ridges to disappear. And so that's what most Klingons will not talk about that, because that was a shameful thing to have no brow ridges.
Yep, that was actually sorry.
Yeah, that was actually explained as part of the canon.
Yeah, there's actually an episode of Star Trek season 4 Star Trek Enterprise that is like a prequel to the original series with Scott Bakula as the captain that actually addressed that whole thing. And who knew you could bring in Khan Union Singh into that? Okay. So that was the decision. Now, there's actually, and I don't know which is worse, but in the Star Trek movies that came out, what's called the Kelvin timeline, that's the, I guess it's called a reboot, maybe, or tried to do a reboot that J.J. Abrams did about 10 plus years ago, which was initially a great movie, but then Star Trek Into Darkness came out and reimagined Klingons as this. At least it doesn't look like that in the lower center, which is totally reimagined. I don't know which I hate more, that which still kind of represents the Klingons we're used to, or the one that Star Trek Discovery made. But somehow I just find the one that J.J. Abrams did more offensive.
Yeah. I have to mention one of the comments from Dancing Bear. I hope Will Wheaton sees this. hashtag.
Oh, I've hashtagged Will Wheaton. That's
Yep.
Good. She covered that. So yeah, that's Savea commenting. All right.
We should
Will Wheaton.
ask our viewers what they think, which one they think is the worst. The one,
Yeah.
this one right here from the movies and the Kelvin timeline, or the one from Discovery, which is the lower middle.
Folks, let us know which one is more offensive. You would think it would be the Star Trek Discovery, but J.J. Abrams just, so to speak, the saying screwed the pooch on this one.
It's like he really liked the TV show, kids show back in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And tried to make a Klingon look like a Slee stack.
I'm looking at might have to look into that and bring it up. Okay. So one of these is kind of controversial. I just say, let's not say screw the pooch. Let's put it in Star Trek specific. They hugged the Targ. I just made that up. That we're going to stick with that one. Okay. So with that brings another part of Klingon society, Klingon popular culture, is their food.
They got some lovely food.
So folks, here is a picture of Klingon food, Klingon cuisines, and I'm looking at Klingon. Okay. Some of the list of popular Klingon foods that you see right here includes, you want to lead this or shall I?
Okay. Are you going to highlight them or like bring them up?
No, we're just going blank. We're just going blanket with this.
Okay, we have Bridget lung, which is the lung out of a beast from the Klingon homeworld. Gagh, Klodst, Krapnok sauce, which Krapnok sauce goes with just about anything. It's kind of like akin to almost an Asian brown sauce that they use in England all the time on everything. Crota leg, which is like crab leg. Mollusk, and this one I'm going to mess up. Omat gris tumfusits.
Omat gris tumfusits. I'm bringing it. All of this, it can be flushed down with a healthy swig of what you see in the lower left of the famous Klingon blood wine, which is actually twice as powerful as whiskey.
Klingon blood wine, right here.
Oh, let me bring it up. Let me highlight it. What do you have there, Wendy?
I have Klingon blood wine.
You do?
I do.
In an actual bottle from
an actual bottle that I'm drinking out of the homeworld glass.
I just happen to be, while you're drinking that, I just happen to have Klingon blood wine in an Nalgene.
Oh,
with kayaking stickers and an REI thing.
Shall we toast?
Shall we toast, folks? Drink with us with Klingon blood wine.
Klingon blood wine.
Kapach.
Kapach.
Okay. Now, out of that, you're probably wondering which is our favorite and which is the most popular that people like to cook up for their own family gatherings, holidays, church picnics. That would probably be gagh, which is actually Klingon bloodworms. Now, I want to bring out an expert to show how to cook Klingon bloodworms. And we just cooked it this evening. Folks, we brought out my mom after we got back from buying a bunch of the ingredients. That's kind of what bad things happen at Sprouts for me. But we came back with lots of stuff, and this is my mom. Actually, let me get it up. This is my mom, and I'm going to narrate it for you. My mom cooking Klingon blood wine. Mom, come on the show and cook Klingon blood wine. Or not Klingon blood wine, cook gagh, the Klingon bloodworms. That, folks, is Klingon bloodworms. Now, you want to boil water to put them in. You want gagh served live. You want still moving. That's the delicacy. What you have right here is two. Right, one of those is actually teriyaki sauce because we just like it. What's the other one, Wendy?
The other one is Qapla'mey sauce.
Yeah. And don't forget the Klingon bloodworms right there. Now, you take them. There's my mom boiling the water and pouring in. It looks like some red wine. Nope, blood wine. Klingon blood wine right there. And you see the water boiling. And let's see. She's getting around there. She's adding a lot of blood wine to that. Okay. And now she's putting in, well, it might look like noodles, but those are Klingon bloodworms. And apparently she's reaching in to look for something to stir it up. There she is, stirring up the gagh and drinking Klingon blood wine. Apparently she likes the blood wine. It's hitting the spot.
Blood wine.
So she's stirring the gagh and she's taking another hit of the blood wine. My mom there's a kid in the background, and my mom is pouring blood wine into the gagh. She apparently wants to have inebriated Klingon bloodworms. There she is stirring it. They've cooked for about 10 minutes. And now she's pouring in the teriyaki. There it goes. Go, Mom. Slowly mix it in there with that, because I'm sure bloodworms love teriyaki sauce. And she's got that. She's got the blood wine right there, and she's going to take another hit of blood wine. There she goes. Okay, well, got to do what you got to do. What's that stuff called again?
Qapla'mey sauce.
Qapla'mey sauce. Okay. Yeah, I remember that from an episode of Quarks. And now she's stirring it up right there. About ready right there. A little bit more stirring for the gagh. And there it is, folks. Gagh Klingon. Okay, you know what? You can't eat that with utensil. Gagh is a finger food.
No.
You got to use your hands. All right, go for it. There we go. How is it? Is it good? She likes it? Does she? Okay.
Needs
apparently
a
she
little
wants to
something.
pour some more blood wine in there.
There you go.
She likes blood wine. Okay. Now take a taste. You've stirred it up. You got it in there. Take a taste. Okay. There's a Klingon bloodworm. Beautiful gagh. Eat it by hand. I think she likes it. What do you think, Mom? Okay. Yeah, I guess that's a yes.
What?
So that is gagh, Klingon bloodworms. And folks, I just happen to have right here gagh. This is the gagh she cooked. It smells heavily of teriyaki. With the impok sauce. It is a finger food. Gagh.
Blood wine.
With lots of blood wine. It needs more blood wine.
Interesting factoid. The serpent worms that are used in the bloodworm dish are kept alive by blood. And the worst task, like in the United States Navy, the worst task you can get is scraping barnacles off the hull of the ship. On a Klingon ship, the worst job is scraping the blood barrels that they keep the bloodworms in.
I guess so.
We have an interesting comment. We have an interesting comment from Maya El Presidente. She says it's like pancit for Klingons. Very true.
What's pancit?
Pancit is a Filipino noodle dish.
Okay. Yes.
It's like pancit, but Klingons don't have any vegetables in the gagh.
Nope. Just teriyaki, peacock sauce, and
blood wine.
Water. And soy sauce, apparently.
And blood wine.
And blood wine. Lots of blood wine. Because apparently blood wine goes with everything. Okay.
Yes, it does.
To blood wine.
To blood wine.
To blood wine. Okay. We got a few minutes left in the show, folks, right here. Got it. Okay. All right. We have one more controversial subject we're going to bring. Well, actually, not controversial, but we want to do a special shout out. There have been a number, a lot of Klingons that appeared in Star Trek, but there's some. Oh, what was that? Oh my God, it's a tribble.
It's a tribble.
Okay.
You know what tribbles are to Klingons, right?
Death.
That was a calm tribble.
Folks, tribbles, appeared in Star Trek, Trouble with Tribbles, they hate Klingons for a reason. Klingons have waged entire military campaigns to wipe out tribbles, which is that fuzzy ball that purrs. But they breed exponentially. You feed one, it's born pregnant. It just needs some food to make it reproduce, and it pops out more. We're talking like the speed of light. Let's just say the new rumor mill at a powwow, the speed of that ain't got nothing on tribbles.
Yeah, and I believe their preferred grain is triclitosaurine.
Yeah.
If you have a shipment of that, you got to check your ship very closely for even one tribble.
Yep.
They're like kind of like gremlins. You can't feed them after midnight.
The thing is they wipe out whole ecosystems on a planet. That's why the Klingons have whole military campaigns to wipe out that cute little fuzzy thing that's going, boo. Does it make the excited sound when it gets near a Klingon?
It gives out a warning cry. So if there happens to be there we go. It must be a Klingon spy in the vicinity. We'll see if we can find it.
Tach.
It's okay.
Tach tribble.
So
So folks,
if you suspect a Klingon spy that's been surgically altered, if you have a tribble, they will let out that little screech and let you know Klingons are in the area.
gotcha. Folks, if you want to know about tribbles, look up Trouble with Tribbles, the original Star Trek series, and then look up, I'll have to look it up. So maybe one of you can name it for me or Google it for me. There's an episode of DS9, Deep Space Nine, that features the Bajoran orb of time. And they end up having to go back to time and revisit the Trouble with Tribbles. And it's a hilarious episode. And then there's actually another episode that's called Star Trek Shorts. That's based off Star Trek Discovery that you can actually watch it on YouTube. But I think it's called The Trouble with Norman or something like that. And it shows this guy who actually takes tribbles and genetically engineers them where they're even more, the reproductive cycle just goes through the roof. And each episode is hilarious. So if you're going to check those out.
There's also an episode on the Star Trek animated series as well.
Which is considered canon.
Yep. Which I also have.
Yeah, you do. I love it. Show the book.
Where'd my book? Where'd it go?
We just got like this whole house of just cool stuff from Comic-Con and stuff. The official guide to Klingon words and phrases, the Klingon Dictionary, English Klingon. There's actually an app for that. Google Translate will actually translate into Klingon.
Yes, it will.
I love it. That's how I got the words right for the opening credits for tonight's show. Okay. Tribbles. Yes, Maya, it's looking at it right here. That is actually how you spell tribbles with 2 B's.
Yes.
And can you explain what you mean by canon? Canon it's actually C. In this case, it's spelled CANON. That's just the college nerd in me. Canon is, what's the word here I'm looking for in this one?
It's what is actually true, because like the Kelvin timeline that we were talking about in the Star Trek movies that were done, I think starting in 2009, those are not canon. So those are not based on Star Trek fact, Star Trek lore. They're not proven to be true.
It's stuff canon is not part of the accepted world right there. It's like, here's a good example, Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
What If? The What If series on Disney Plus.
Right.
What happens in there, where you like, what happens if Iron Man and the rest of the Avengers are turned into zombies? That didn't happen in the movies. So that's a nice thing to revisit, but it's not canon.
Yeah. Not in the movies and not in the comic books.
Yeah, it's not in the comic books. It's not something that actually happened in the continuity of the books and movies that are all supposed to follow the same time frame and events. It's something else. Though when you talk about the multiverse, that gets diluted, but that's what we mean by canon.
Yeah, it's accepted fact, accepted lore.
Yep, bingo. Okay, with that, we're at 11 o'clock. We're going to do one more thing. Couple minutes of overtime, folks, because Va's not here. We can do this. Otherwise, she'll be going.
She knows she's doing that right now.
Got it. Okay. Oh, she is. Anyway, all right. We're going to do our shout out here, folks. So what we have right here is some of our favorite actors that we want to point out. The greatest Klingon characters not played by Michael Dorn. Michael Dorn played Worf in Star Trek The Next Generation and DS9 in every movie featuring the Next Generation cast. He's amazing. And let's not forget Worf in season 3 of Star Trek Picard.
Right.
The best Worf. I loved it.
The
Okay.
senior warrior.
Core, played by John Coloca. How do you say that?
Kalikios.
Okay, got it. And he actually played that Core in the original series and Deep Space Nine, where he played a Jaha Master.
Yep.
And
yes.
let's not forget,
Sorry.
Got it. And then your favorite, Chancellor Gowron, played by Robert O'Reilly, lower left. And then we go to General Chang. He's on there because a lot of people, I'm not in it, but a lot of people are, so I included him as General Chang, played by Christopher Plummer in Star Trek The Undiscovered Country. General Martok, my personal favorite, because I just love that voice of his is just awesome. Played by J.G. Hertzler. And then the best one, I think he's the best. He's the best in my book. Krug from Star Trek The Search for Spock, Christopher Lloyd. A much younger Christopher Lloyd from the mid-1980s.
Right.
But he set the definition until Michael Dorn came along. He was the definitive kick-ass Klingon.
Right.
Got it. Okay, folks, that is tonight's episode of Late Night Craft Talk. Qapla'mey.
Qapla'mey.
It's a little early. But right here we have, thank you, Joya. She says, live long and prosper. Thank you.
Yep.
But from us, we say Qapla'mey, which is Klingon for right there. And then just remember, folks, I don't have the translation from me. Otherwise, I'd say Klingon, but today is a good day to die. The warriors cry. I love it if we could do Klingon jokes that are just so tongue-in-cheek and going, what?
Wait.
I mean, dad jokes
Are
are
you
funny.
serious?
I know. So, folks, this has been fun. We covered some good stuff tonight. With that, this has been another episode of Late Night Craft Talk. We will probably be doing a replay because Sabine and I are both out of town at shows next weekend. We're going to try to pre-record. Either way, it's going to be one of our favoriteest episodes that we put up for a replay, but we'll be back live in 2 weeks. I'll be back live in 2 weeks, and we'll let you know the show subject because we got to finish it. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Wendy, you blew it out. You blew it up. You blew up tonight, man. You blew it out of the water right in there. The uniform, everything. Thank you, number one.
Well, thank you for having me.
I keep on forgetting to say number one. With
Thank
that,
you
folks,
for having me. Live long and prosper.
you killed it. I got to get the closing credits video file. Here we go. Okay, folks, get ready to dance with us. This is be the normal close. With that, it's been this week's episode. Qapla'mey.
Qapla'mey.
Back. You're done for the talk. Come on, shoot. No trouble, no trouble. Not playing on fly.
Aw, ain't he cute?
Good night.
Good night.
Honorable viewers from the House of Late Night Craft Talk. Glory to the Empire. No tribbles.
No tribbles. You've got the triple killer.
Trouble.
You've got the triple eater.
The trouble with tribbles.
Somewhere.